Morning, Glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. I am Hugh Hewitt in the ReliefFactor.com studio inside the Beltway. Thank you for watching. But British Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains in intensive care. He is not on a ventilator. He is receiving oxygen treatment. We'll follow that story throughout the morning. Here are the latest statistics on the coronavirus. In the United States, there are 357,000 known cases, 357,000. There have been 10,783 deaths. 1,164 Americans died yesterday on Monday. This is Tuesday, April 7th. Worldwide, there are 1,348,376 known cases. 74,000 people have died. 272,000 people have recovered. Here inside the Beltway, we are surrounded by cases. In Maryland, there are 4,046. In the district, 1,101. And in Virginia, 2,881. The death toll has been relatively low. 91 deaths in Maryland, 24 in D.C., 54 in Virginia, but we are supposed to be in our hotspot week. I'm devoting today's show to one thing. Who do you trust in media? Who do you trust during a time like this, or any day, actually? Government cannot always lift the curtain for a variety of reasons on what they know and what they can tell you, but media is supposed to, if they know, if they're doing their work, if they're studying. And I believe when it comes to coronavirus, you ought to use January of this year as your guide to whom you can trust going forward. I'm devoting today to what I told you in January, beginning with the first time I mentioned the virus, which was on Monday, January the 20th of this year, cut number one. Coronavirus kills third person, spreads to South Korea and more Chinese cities. This is the headline in the Wall Street Journal this morning. Byline of Chow Deng, filed at 1:39 a.m. A newly identified virus originating in central China has spread to South Korea, killed a third person in China, and reached at least 3 more population centers within the country. As the number of live cases has more than tripled, a major escalation in the outbreak of the pneumonia-like disease. South Korean authorities confirmed Monday that a 35-year-old Chinese woman who had flown into the country from the Chinese city of Wuhan had contracted the coronavirus, part of a class of pathogens that can cause illnesses ranging from the common cold to the deadly severe acute respiratory system, or SARS. The virus has also reached China's capital, Beijing, in the north of the country, where 2 cases were identified, local authorities said. Health authorities in the southern metropolis of Shenzhen, on the border with Hong Kong, also reported 1 confirmed case of the coronavirus Monday and 8 suspected cases there. Meantime, 5 suspected cases were reported by health authorities in coastal Zhejiang province just south of Shanghai on the country's east coast, in the cities of Wenzhou, Zhoushan, Taizhou, and Hangzhou. The sudden spread of the disease raises fresh concerns as tens of millions of Chinese citizens prepare to travel, many of them to their hometowns for the annual Lunar New Year holiday. It is also likely to spark questions over the transparency of disclosures by Chinese health authorities. Now, I want you to write down January 20th, 2020. 1/20/2020. That's the first day I led a show with a report on coronavirus. Now, if past is prologue, we know that the Ebola crisis of a few years back suggests that modern travel will allow coronavirus to get to the United States. We don't know when. It could be tomorrow. And so I hope somebody at the White House and HHS is calling up Ronald Klain, who is Vice President Biden's campaign manager. And I know he's a Dem, real smart Dem. He's a Dem, but he was also the Ebola point guy for President Obama. And when it comes to breakout of virus, and I go back to the 1920 Spanish flu, there's a book out on that George W. Bush used to carry around under his arm when Ebola first became an international problem. You don't want to mess around. You just want to be prepared. And so I would hope that every single person, regardless R&D, pays attention to this story. There are a lot of other stories out there this morning but coronavirus is the one that in the world should be looking. That was Monday, January the 20th. On Tuesday, January the 21st, I returned to the subject, cut number 2. I've got to check on the markets because the spread of coronavirus has got, I think, East Asia spooked. The markets were closed yesterday, and the fear of coronavirus has really shaken markets abroad. Hong Kong is down 2.7% this morning. Japan is down almost 1%. Early trading in the U.S., S&P down 9, NASDAQ down 35, the Dow down 46. Those are not good numbers. The price of gold, though, interestingly, is also down 1556, and the 10-year Treasury is at 1.84. Now, what do I deduce from that? They're afraid of coronavirus screwing up China, but they're not afraid of it getting out. And I continue to repeat, if I'm in Team Trump, I'm calling up Ronald Klain, even though he's Joe Biden's campaign guy, and he was our Ebola guy, and saying, Klain, what do we do? If we get a coronavirus hit in the United States, what do we do? Because it's not as lethal as Ebola, but it's pretty doggone bad. And it's got everybody shook up in China. On Tuesday, January 21st, I asked my first political journalist guest, Eliana Johnson, editor of the Free Beacon, formerly of Politico, formerly of Fox News, just a terrific reporter, what she thought about it. Cut number 3. Now I want to switch completely. Has the Free Beacon yet paid any attention to coronavirus? Because the Hong Kong market dropped 2.8% today, overnight, and that's because the coronavirus has jumped into Shanghai, Beijing, and close to Hong Kong, the province next to Hong Kong. There have been 14 cases in Guangdong province, and there have been 4 fatalities. It looks to me as though they're panicking in Asia. Has the Free Beacon devoted any resources to coronavirus yet?
Hugh, at the risk of humiliating myself, I'm going to admit something embarrassing to you, which is that when you were talking about this earlier in the show, I actually texted my dad and said, what is coronavirus?
Aha! Stop right there. Eliana is a good reporter. She listens to this show, and she acted by asking what was going on. Too many people in the media did not do that, even though I am on early, even though the warning signs were there. Right now, I want to look at this morning's markets to give you a little heads up on what's going on because it's very interesting. I'll come back to what I said to you in January. That was January, Monday and Tuesday, January 20th and 21st. But the morning market report, morning business report is brought to you by Birch Gold. And I've been telling you since January, gold is a great place to be diversified into. Now, never sell.